Our views on capitalism. Noēsis is a wholly humanitarian undertaking, and considering these particularly divisive times, some viewers might view us automatically as liberals. And wherever liberals are, can socialism be far behind? You can understand my intense desire to set the record straight on this subject, but let me first put this in place. It is not any single person or any single event or any religion or any politician or any major company that threatens the survival of our species. Rather, it is our nature itself that threatens us. What does that mean? Let me be clear. Let's all pretend when I snap my fingers that Donald Trump was never born. Do you have that in your mind? Let's not stop there. Pretend further that your favorite politician and your most revered politician and your worst politician were never born. Would humans be any safer from themselves right now as I speak? The answer is absolutely not. We are imperfect beings who maddeningly pound on the imperfections of our fellow beings. We blame everyone for everything, and we in turn accept no blame whatsoever. It is human nature in its present unchecked trajectory that will in fact select our species for extinction. So in a future world where the ancient triggers and mechanisms of conflict are understood and tamed by the muscle memory that comes with educational initiatives, will this also be accompanied by a socialist economic reality? Here's a hint. Sentient creatures must be free. And the only workable economic system for a free species is capitalism. And there it is. Human beings are creatures who ponder their own existence. If we are not free, we will spend our lives trying to free ourselves. We need to move about, to explore, to grow. None of those freedoms are available to us in a socialist system. Will we be exploring economic concerns among human beings? Frankly, relative to our mission where we one by one expose the multitudes of outdated, unresolved, and wholly primitive forces that drive the rinse and repeat behavior we see today, capitalism is asked to give up precisely nothing. In fact, our planned methodology takes great care not to disturb anything that humans currently do. We are not creatures who respond to being scolded or shamed. It's these very things, in fact, that now have humanity trapped within the exquisite dysfunction that all of us clearly see. So while I've got you and while we're discussing capitalism, I wonder how many viewers know how capitalism was first introduced to the human experience here on Earth. When we come to know how and when we crossed over to a capitalist system, we come to suddenly understand how easily it was for us to arrive at a place where our mortality as a species is suddenly visible to us. Here's the nickel tour on how we crossed over. Human beings were spread around the world by a migratory process that I fully described in another short video. That entire migratory experience was a nomadic and collaborative effort. Nomadic creatures existed within a collaborative system or they died. Within that circle of collaboration, each participant understood and valued their roles. Their roles were valued by all others as well. That need to assist and to be assisted had 300,000 years to sear itself into our biology. When was this collaborative and nomadic circle broken? The mechanism I'll now describe is well understood, well documented, but most viewers likely don't have the luxury of knowing how and why born collaborators like us were induced to stop and switch into creatures that now swim upstream against our deepest longings for collaboration. The crossover period is thought to have occurred about 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. It was ushered in chiefly through the domestication of large animals and pack animals such as dogs, who were adept at herding and managing these beasts of burden, who were now being used to grow larger and larger fields of crops. With these ever larger fields of crops came the ability for human beings to slowly but increasingly settle down, to gather into increasingly larger and larger groups. With these increasing numbers came agents of increasing control. The reason for elements of control over increasingly larger populations is understood, but no one could ever know at that time what these crossover behaviors would eventually bring. Among the most notable of these was the first example of a financial meritocracy. A 300,000-year-old circle of collaboration met head-on with increasingly warped values and the psychic injury that came when the circle of collaboration broke down and became the socially descending order of financial meritocracy. Creatures who once enjoyed the fulfillment of cherished roles within a circle of collaboration were now judged to be lesser beings by the descending nature of a financial meritocracy. A broken circle, like a bracelet, no longer keeps its jewelry in place. Rather, its many pieces are scattered. It was this well-known crossover period, thought to occur about 10,000 years ago, that ushered in the psychic injury of the human heart. Its need to appreciate and be appreciated forever, lost in time, replaced by a message that emphasized acquisition and de-emphasized collaboration. It is these two equal and opposite forces that now remain at endless war within the hearts and minds of a lost species. Because these mechanisms and their timetables are now known, they serve as a tool for humanity to now understand itself and to forgive itself for being caught into a game that increasingly wishes not to play and that it didn't choose. The more you know, the better.